A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Welcome to Watkins, Glen International. Welcome to New York wine country. Welcome to one of the most beautiful parts of this great nation. I'm not just talking about the beautiful scenery of upstate New York. Watkins Glen International itself, a staple of the NASCAR calendar for many a year, and it plays host to the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series for the fourth time in series history this evening. Welcome aboard tonight's coverage of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series here on Turn 200. It's Tommy Cook. It's Joshua Motichek, partner. Welcome to the old left and rights, although not a whole lot of left turns. How many exactly is up for debate, but there's certainly no easy way around this clockwise 7-turn circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit different than an oval track. That is for sure. First road course of the season as well. So I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm not very good at Watkins Glen. Barely managed to squeak a good finish when Venom ran here after having a few unfortunate incidents. But I'm excited. It plays to some good racing, some good strategy. Some of these guys are just outrageously fast on pace.
Well, let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight, as tonight is round number 10. Only 5 more rounds after the green flag, or rather the checkered flag, drops here this evening at the Glen. Dakota Floyd, of course, pulling away just a little bit as Scott Patton and Justin Michael fall after missing last week. They were having a good time up with the NASCAR boys in New Hampshire last weekend. Greg Mull, of course, for that first big win on the season, now up to second in the standings. So he and Dakota Floyd pulled away. Nathan Carroll added some to the cut line. Everybody else tightened up a little bit as things are still pretty tight on the right side of this points graphic here.
Yeah, I mean, this is about the time when you start hitting that panic button. Okay, I need some good finishes if I'm going to be above this cut line.
Yeah, definitely. It is panic time for some of these drivers here tonight. A couple of these drivers that are on this graphic are not here, and will continue to not be here for the rest of the season, it would seem. So we'll continue to monitor how things change, especially with what, like you said, it's the first road course race of the season this evening. A little bit of a wild card, you could say, as we'll take a look at the drivers that have posted a lap thus far. As provisionally top of the board right now is one driver, Aiden Kirker, who made his debut last week at Kentucky and got himself a top 10 in his first go-around. James Lehman is the defending Watkins Glen winner, looking for a bit of a bounce back after last week slipped away from him. Lehman is on the clock. as Tyler Hessling, who was fastest in practice, just came across the stripe to go P2. So Aiden Kirker's still with provisional pole at the moment. Peyton Bass is out on track. Scott Patton, not the defending Watkins Glen winner, but he is a Watkins Glen winner here in Max V. 31 drivers signed in at the moment. Qualifying will wrap up in a minute and a half. And for the first time in series history, and I think for the first time in any NASCAR-adjacent league on Turn 200, we have a timed race this evening. It'll be a 60-minute timed race. Not unfamiliar to some fans of the ASRL Sports Car Championship. It works exactly the same. We just don't normally see it in a NASCAR race. James Lehman goes P2 with his lap, and Scott Patton will go 8th fastest, so he clocks in inside the top 10. Ryan Nardone, we mentioned it, he's still on the points graphic, but he has lost a big chunk of his advantage to the cut line, 24th last week at Kentucky. Needs to start moving the needle in the other direction. A good qualifying run here would help with that. And Nardone clocks in 14th out of the 23 drivers that have posted a lap thus far. Only one other driver will have an opportunity here to cross the stripe before time expires. It'll be Chris Sargent. Sargent is above the cut line right now, silently plugging away, doing a nice job thus far this season. Got himself a top 15 last week at Kentucky. And Sargent will cross the stripe, and he will go 23rd out of 24 timers here this evening. Clock is about to strike 0. And when it does, we will get ready to go racing here at Watkins Glen International for the 4th time in series history. We've had 3 different winners in our previous 3 races here. Who will add their name to that illustrious group? We're about to find out. As Aiden Kirker in his 2nd career Max V CNC Home Design Truck Series race will take the pole position. Congratulations to him. James Lehman will line up to his outside with Tyler Hessling and Jared Wishon. Both very fast in practice. They'll line up on row number 2. Row 3 is Nathan Carroll, who you and I talked to a little bit ago. He didn't sound overly confident. I think he'll be tickled pink with a P5 start. Kyle Stewart, great stuff last week at Kentucky. He is starting on the outside of row number 3. Matt Rodolasso and Scott Patton on row number 4. Dakota Floyd and Seth Foudy, 2 drivers that finished on the podium last week, will line up on row number 5. Nathan Barrows making his debut this evening, starting in 11th to the inside of Alex Howland, one of the ASRL Sports Car Championship regulars. I'll be interested to see what he could do in the stock car here tonight. Greg Mall, last week's race winner, starts back at 13th with Ryan Nardone. To his outside, Peyton Bass and CJ McLaughlin on row number 8. It is Tyler Granatz and Parker Donaldson. Rod Minton and Rob Haynes is back here tonight. Haynes will roll off from 20th in the, I guess what could be considered his home track for the Ontarian. Omar Rodriguez Jr. is back in the lineup tonight as well, starting at 24th with Joshua Fracker. To his outside, Chris Sargent and Brandon Groover, the 24 drivers who posted qualifying laps here. It'll be Heath Smith and Jack Watts, the first of the rest on row 13. Billy Bumgarner and Jordan Neese on row 14. Bill Paradise and Zachary Groover then on row 15. Michael Van and Rob Martin, 32 drivers. We'll get after it here for 60 minutes this evening at Watkins Glen International. Looks like a beautiful day in upstate New York. 101-degree track temperature, and this will be the first time that we've showcased the Glen since the touch-up, if you will, the NASCAR refresh. Looks like, unless I am tripping out, that our grandstands are not loaded in, which is very interesting. Maybe that's just a weird camera angle not showing the grandstands. But either way, capacity crowd here one way or another at Watkins Glen. And Mr. Joshua Motichek has got the details of the day here at the Glen.
Yeah, so I would typically say, you know the drill, but the drill is different today. So standard to start off with, 3 extra sets of tires, no fast repairs. Incident limits still stand. 16 incidents is a drive-through, 21 is a disqualification. 70% fuel should put the pit window around lap 18 or so. But the change-up here at the road course, timed race, like Tommy said earlier, 60 minutes to be the full distance. We will still have a stage break caution at the 18-minute mark. So definitely going to be interesting to see a timed race with a forced caution in the middle.
It is going to be very strange. I like to make this point anytime we come here to Watkins Glen, especially in the NASCAR trucks. You know, a lot of these guys are not comfortable on the road courses. But if there was a road course they were going to be comfortable on, it would be this one. It's the one that gets the most use amongst, I guess, the casual stock car racer.
Yeah, I think this was one of the only road courses that I was familiar with whenever I picked up iRacing. So definitely holds true.
A full pace lap around this 2.45 mile, 7-turn facility here in Watkins Glen. I have to say, this is one of the tracks I've been to in real life. You got to go. You got to see it for yourself. It's a great facility, one of the best I've ever been to. And it is absolutely beautiful country. I was just up here earlier this summer, not for the NASCAR race, but just passing through. It's really, really, really pretty area, lots to do. Even if you're not a race fan, it is worth a trip. These drivers are about to go on a trip here as we are ready to rock and roll at the Glen. Pace truck is off. It's Aiden Kirker and James Lehman on the front row. And the dash into the right-hander in turn number 1. We are underway here at the Glen.
Very even getaway at the start.
Kirker on driver's right. Lehman with a little bobble there, but he will still draw even. You mentioned incident limits earlier. That is an off track for Lehman more than likely. That will be one. You don't want to rack up too many. But Lehman trying to use that track positioning tactically, and he does. He'll slot into second, headed now up the hill to the bus stop.
Yep, Watkins Glen up the hill through the S's and down into the bus stop. Not a place you want to be more than single file.
Issue for Ryan Nardone. You see him there in the shortcut through the bus stop. Ran it long. But doesn't look like any damage on that truck, so just a little bit more work to do now for the 98 truck here early in the running. Kirker led some laps in his debut last week, now has his first career pole to boot in his second outing here with Max V, and he'll lead a lap at the Glen to open things up. "18 minutes. It's very interesting. We usually run really close if we can manage to get a full green flag run at the ovals. We're usually right up against that fuel limit there. It's going to be close again here.
Yeah, I think your gearing is going to be a little bit more unique here at a road course, because you're going to have some guys that prefer to keep it real high in the revs, and some other guys who like to bog the truck through the corners. So definitely gonna play a lot bigger factor into fuel saving when we get into the second half of this race.
Both of the Groovers had an issue coming up through the S's uphill. Zachary Groover drops a few positions back to 31st. As you saw, riding on the hood cam there with James Lehman through the bus stop, Kirker got his right side tires there off into the grass. Didn't seem to incur a slowdown penalty, so that's nice, especially considering that James Lehman is all over your race leader, headed back into turn 1. We'll keep our eye on that. Look for a little bit more action through the pack. Here's a pass for 15th. CJ McLaughlin on Ron Mitten, as the aforementioned Zachary Groover is going to bring his car down pit road. Here we go back to the lead now. Kirker under fire here from Lehman, headed back to the bus stop.
Lehman is all over that black and purple bumper.
Headed through the carousel now. Lehman with a run, and he's going to look to take it out to driver's left. You do not get a penalty for going out there. A lot of drivers will floor it that way, and that will set you up nicely here for the left-hander. Kirker's still going to hang here to the right side and have the preferred positioning for the right-hander now, but Lehman should be able to get good drive off here. And he does. Lehman might be able to get clear if he wants it into turn one, but Kirker will still have the opportunity to dive it underneath.
Very tight racing. Lehman keeps him pinned in at the exit.
And Tyler
He's gonna
Hesseling.
barely be clear.
Hesseling forcing the issue now as well, as Lehman is clear for the lead. Hesseling now applying pressure for Kirker's second position. Good stuff here at the front. Well, we got just a second. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hello to the Motichek gang as always. Hello to Lisa Carroll. And hello to anybody else that may be watching us here at the Glen this evening. Hit the Carroll running in the fifth position right now. Not under fire, not challenging for position, just cruising here in the opening portion of the race. Greg Mall has moved forward. Seth Foudy is moving backwards. The battlers from Kentucky last week are close together here for the 11th position. As the top three still nose to tail. Let's ride on board here with Tyler Hesseling as we come up the hill. Tires are warm, but it's still a little touchy through here. You could hear just Hesseling feathering that throttle in the wake of the 39. Of course, you're not feathering it down this straightaway. He is hammered down, all out. Abusing the curbing there in the bus stop. Out of the carousel now, down the backstretch. Grabbing a gear under, braking into the left-hander here. You see the other two, Lehman and Kirker, running it wide. Hesseling keeping it pretty tidy there to the curbing. Turn 7, that final turn, I always have problems keeping that truck underneath of me no matter what point I am on the run. It always seems like the truck wants to step out at you or underneath of you on that right-hander.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique corner the way that it is banked. It really goes against your natural oval driver instincts.
Here's Jack Watts with a move on Rod Mitten to take away 16th. Hello to Daniel Carroll. Nathan Carroll is dropping back a little bit to Kyle Stewart here. We'll keep our eyes on that as Greg Mall, again, not quite close enough to make a move here on Seth Foudy for the 11th position, but they are sure close to one another. There's Scott Patton in 9th. He's let Dakota Floyd get through on him, and Floyd is now going to push the issue here on Matt Rodolasso for spot number 7.
You mentioned Jack Watts. I do believe he is our highest mover, 9 spots.
Yeah, Watts on a roll here early. And, needs the points, that is for sure. On the outside looking in right now in a tie for 15th.
Here comes Floyd up the right-hand side of Rodolasso down into turn 1.
Floyd has got Kyle Stewart right in front of him, and now he could focus forward on him. Maybe. Rodolasso coming back with a crossover here, and you do not want to be side-by-side into the S's. We've got a problem further back. Joshua Fracker is around, and it sounds like that. Yep, that's Chris Surgeon blocked by the Go Bowling sign there. Those two have gotten together. And Floyd has completed that pass on Rodolasso, so we'll go back and take a look at what has happened between those two. Fracker running so well last week and did not get the finish to go with it. So there's Fracker leading Sargent here into turn number 7, and Sargent, just missed his braking point straight into the back of the 56. It was a square hit, so that's the good news for Fracker, but the bad news is they'll both have some aero damage, and this truck is already a little loosey-goosey around here, so that's not going to help much.
Yeah, track being as hot as it is definitely does not aid in keeping the rear end underneath you.
Manny G in the chat cheering on Nathan Carroll. Here is Nathan. We mentioned Kyle Stewart was getting closer, but that is not the case anymore. Stewart is backing up, and he'll have his hands full with Dakota Floyd here shortly if things continue to trend the direction that they are. James Lehman's still the leader, only 4/10 back to Aiden Kirker, however. Kirker with half a second on Tyler Hesseling. Looks like a problem for Zachary Groover has sent him back to the pits once again. So he's back in the 31st position. Groover, another driver, right on that bubble. So this is not going to do him any favors in the chase for the chase, if you will. Speaking of bubble drivers, Ryan Nardone just made a pass on Jordan Neese after his first lap slip up. He is clawing positions back up to 22nd. What is going to help drivers who have the early problems here is a caution. We normally don't see them on the road courses unless something catastrophic happens. Anytime we go truck series racing. But the stage caution here is going to be a little bit more forgiving on some early race mistakes. With about 8 minutes and change, or 7 minutes and change left to go in our opening stage. Let's go up the road here. Alex Hallen holding down a spot in the top 10, but now he's got Seth Foudy all over him, and that Miller Lite Ford F-150 is bouncing through the S's. And Hallen now leaves the door open for Foudy, but closes him back off there in the bus stop. Kyle Stewart now with a truck length back to Dakota Floyd for 7th, or rather for 6th. Oh, we just had a problem with Scott Patton, and he has crashed, and he is out. That truck is blown up. In a not too dissimilar position to where he found himself in 2024 here. Or rather in 2023. Patton out of the carousel, going to catch the curbing here, and that is going to send that truck around. I mean, that is almost copy and paste what happened to him here in 2023. So Patton from the top 10 after taking last week off, all of a sudden, is going to be out of this race. We also had a problem, a separate issue with C.J. McLaughlin from the looks of it as well. But he is continued. That's a surprising moment, to say the least, but that just shows you how on the knife's edge these trucks are.
They definitely aren't friendly.
No, I don't think Scott Patton is feeling the warm embrace of friendship right now, that's for sure. Let's go back to Howland, Foudy, and now Maul, all right here together, battling for 1 to 2 stage points. Howland made a quick exit last week at Kentucky. Doing really solid this season. 2 14th place finishes thus far in his rookie Max V campaign. And anytime you're holding off Seth Foudy, you're doing something right, that's for sure. Howland is doing just that for now. Howland,
Greg Maul is Greg Mull is looking for any points he can get.
Certainly, his cushion to the cut line is very comfortable. I would imagine in the next couple weeks we'll be talking more and more about drivers starting to lock themselves into the postseason officially, and Mull will be one of the first 2 drivers on that list to do just that if he can keep up the solid run that he's on now. Of course, the other is the points leader, Dakota Floyd, who is still all over Kyle Stewart here. Michael Van has just come in to pit. Looked like regular service for him. Total time on pit road, 30 seconds. Maybe is a little bit long, but not too out of the question. And now the battle for the stage win is on as Aiden Kirker again is all over Lehman, and Lehman looks to have his hands full. He is using every inch of the curbing there through the bus stop. And Kirker, a truck length and a half behind the race leader now.
Inching closer and closer.
Pit stops, Kyle Stewart and Dakota Floyd. Now this could very well be a strategy play here. Not necessarily thinking that these drivers are going to run out of fuel. There is a chance that they might run out of fuel under pacing after the stage caution comes out. Depending on where they are on track, they might have to go an extra lap before they catch the pace truck. But either way, this could also just be a straight-up strategy play from Kyle Stewart and Dakota Floyd, who are the only 2 that are in this time. Very interesting. Things are going to be quite tantalizing here in the next couple of minutes before we close up the stage. Normally they close pit road with 2 laps to go. So I'm wondering here with 2 minutes to go if they will close pit road.
Now, bear in mind, last time we were here, last season, we did see Justin Michael come in before the stage break and was able to jump everybody who pitted under the stage and be in the lead at the restart.
So maybe that lives long in the memory of Dakota Floyd. Kyle Stewart wasn't here for that, but could be wise to the business. Now, some of these drivers do their homework. I'm sure Kyle's been around the block a time or 2 as well. Nobody down pit road on this lap.
And it does look like pit lane has been closed now.
Okay. That would also explain why nobody's on pit road. Oh, problems for Omar Rodriguez. He is around out of turn number 1. And that will drop him outside of the top 15. What this pit does now is move Greg Mull and Nathan Barrows into points-paying positions for the stage. Of course, it's not going to matter much to Nathan Barrows, as this is his first career race here this evening, but still puts him in a good position for the back 3/4 of this race. So this will be the run to the stage. Whether it comes right out in 25 seconds or whether they're racing back to the line, we will find out. But Lehman has control, not by much though. Kirker all over. "18 minutes have elapsed. Looks like we're racing back to the stripe. Much to the delight of Kirker, Lehman is loose, but Kirker cannot take advantage. Jared Wishon has come alive here of late. Tyler Hessling has dropped back to him. As we should see the green and white checkers flying here at the stripe as Lehman is hanging it out of the final turn. And Lehman wins the stage. Aiden Kirker in second, Tyler Hessling in third, Jared Wishon in fourth, Nathan Carroll rounds out the top five. Sixth for Matt Rodolasso, seventh for Alex Hallen, Seth Foudy in eighth, Greg Mullen ninth, and Nathan Barrows will round out the top 10 points-paying drivers in the stage. Jack Watts, the first driver on the outside, look it in. Pace truck picks him up right away, and everybody should be coming down pit road this time except for Dakota Floyd in 19th and Kyle Stewart in 20th, sniping an early pit stop. The only other driver to come in under green flag conditions was Michael Vann, and Michael Vann never returned to the race. So all eyes will be fixed on Floyd and Stewart here to see how they will fare with a couple lap older tires on the next restart.
I gotta say, as someone who is not very fast and not very good at passing on road courses especially, I am thoroughly impressed with the run that Jack Watts put on in this first stage. 26 to 11th. That's a haul.
Yeah, that's some big time moving and shaking right there. Track temperature has gone up 3 degrees since the drop of the green flag, which is that's not nothing. Every few degrees, you can really start to feel it once it gets over about 98. Once you're into triple digits, you'll feel it all until it hits about 125, and then at that point, it doesn't really matter. You're just in for a miserable time. Luckily, I don't think we'll get quite that high. Oh, wow. Well, we're not running our Whiplash SimCam package here this evening, and it shows. These pit lane cameras are awful. I probably said the exact same thing here last season. And it is indeed everybody but Dakota Floyd and Kyle Stewart on pit road. As we expected, we could see the race off here between Lehman and Kirker in the first two stalls. Race off goes to Lehman by a whisker. Hessling beats Wishon out. Nathan Carroll comes out fifth. Matt Rodolasso jumps back up a couple positions. Rodolasso ahead of Foudy, who hops over Howland. And those will be your top 10 with Floyd and Stewart still out on the track. And I'm showing an issue for Nathan Barrows here. And I believe he will have been popped for some kind of penalty here. He is just dropping to the tail of the field. So more than likely it was too fast entering or exiting. And that will nip a good run in the bud. For now, anyway. So now, what of your leaders, Dakota Floyd and Kyle Stewart? Going for the undercut, going for to play the long game here.
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm here for the long game.
I mean, we know we're guaranteed a pit stop in more than likely just one. As we should, barring a track blocker through the S's, which is not impossible. Should just have green flag running from here on out. We're mentioning bubble drivers. This is a good strategy here for Kyle Stewart, who was running 6th when he did come down pit road. But Stewart now is on the right side of the cutoff. But still needs a good points day. And is looking good for one right now. Nathan Barrows using the penalty as an opportunity to come down pit road and top off for an extra lap of fuel here. Under caution, why not if you're going to be at the back anyway? Never know how it'll play out.
Might come in handy later on.
An extra lap of fuel just gives you more options, and if you're not giving up the track position for it, then more options is good. Always tense pace laps if you know you're the odd one out on strategy. Especially long pace laps here at Watkins Glen. Gives you time to think and probably to overthink as well.
Yeah, sometimes thinking is not always the best.
These are two drivers that, not only our reigning series champion, pretty obvious to say he's quite good. Kyle Stewart is also quite good. I don't think the stats quite show what Kyle Stewart's been capable of here this season, and he's had good pace here tonight. No reason for either of these two to be feeling squeamish right now, but with 30 other drivers bearing down on you headed down the hill into turn number 1, who knows what these two are thinking. Floyd and Stewart, Kirker and Lehman, your front four as we're back at our green.
Man, Kirker. Oh, Stewart, hang on to it. Locks him up down into the corner. Gets a little sideways.
3 wide behind him. It gets settled a little bit. Wishon and Hessling, little door checking here up into the S's. As they try and get these positions settled, Nathan Carroll is riding behind, pushing the issue. Wishon finally trying to get through here on the 43 of Hessling. Lots of shuffling down the straight into the bus stop. A little wiggle there from Carroll as Hessling hangs on to the spot in front of Wishon. Kyle Stewart still hanging on to second as Dakota Floyd is starting to pull away. Kirker nearly went around, and Omar Rodriguez has. Rodriguez has crashed hard, as has Peyton Bass. And now Jordan Neese with an issue. Neese into the barriers. We'll check back in on those incidents here on a replay in a moment. So we get back up towards the front of this field. Still lots to get settled, lots to get sorted. Stewart has held on to this second position now. He's putting some space on James Lehman here. Oh, problem for Bill Paradise and Brandon Groover into turn number 1. Paradise into the barriers. Groover able to drive away. Back to Matt Rodolasso, who will have his hands full with Seth Foudy. And actually able to pull away just a bit out of the bus stop, and he'll try and focus up on Nathan Carroll to try and take 7th away. Let's go back and take a look at a couple of these incidents here. Omar Rodriguez and Peyton Bass come together through the bus stop from the looks of it. And actually, I think Bass is going to go around first. We'll go to Peyton Bass up here in the 24 truck, as we've had an issue for James Lehman on track. We'll get to that here in just a moment. As, yeah, Bass will lock that one up. Lehman around out of the final turn. and trying not to spin it back into traffic will get back up and going, but that takes Lehman from 3rd down to 20th. Wow. That is, that's a shocker for sure. Let's back it up. Lehman already out of shape here out of the final turn, and we've seen him been hanging it out there already. Looks like maybe he grabbed a gear and got that truck really, really loose. And once those rear tires started spinning, they just did not stop.
Yeah, you got to be really, really cautious with exactly when you catch a gear.
And I stand corrected, actually. I thought maybe the back end jumping out from underneath of him was him reaching down to grab second or first gear. But, in fact, he stayed on the same gear and just tank swapped on him. So that moves Aiden Kirker now into the 3rd position, and Kirker is looking poised to take over second here. So he's caught Kyle Stewart now to 2 truck lengths headed up the hill. Into the bus stop they go. Kirker again dipping those right side tires in the grass there. And that little right-handed flick of the wrist out of the bus stop.
Stewart, Kirker, and Hessling, all 3 right here close together.
And Jared Wishon not too far behind them either. Should these 3 really get to scrapping. Hessling a little bit out of shape there through the final turn. Oh, Kirker is right there, and we'll give a little love tap, try and loosen Stewart up. All that's going to do is send Kirker back into the clutches now of Hessling.
Oh, man, and Hessling was right at the edge of that wall where it juts out.
Looks like Rob Haynes has had an issue. I just saw multiple people get past him. Actually, no, that is just Jack Watts and Rob Haynes being side by side, passing each other repeatedly. But that has been settled, and Watts will finally take the position outright. CJ McLaughlin is down pit road. Matt Ronalasso still tracking down Nathan Carroll here. Carroll not too far behind the train for second place. Right on board with Carroll. That's the view out his windshield, and here is his closest competitor right now, Matt Ronalasso. You can hear not quite flat out up the hill through the S's, and I mean, Ronalasso is like driving on marbles. That thing looks out of control loose, got the right side tires up in the air, sending it into the bus stop.
Don't think he is alone.
No, certainly not. Back up the road, here's Hessling once again with Aiden Kirker. Ooh, Stewart and Hessling both tagged the wall there. Little monkey see, monkey do. Tyler Granat working on Rob Haynes here, trying to get up to 13th. Granat is another driver close to the cut line right now, but on the wrong side of it. Every spot is going to help Grenade after a swift exit last week at Kentucky. Grenade takes 13th away from the 199 of Rob Haynes. And not too far behind Haynes now, that is Ryan Nardone trying to recover from the lap 1 incident. This would be for 14th. He's all over Haynes here. Not quite close enough to pull the trigger into the bus stop, however. We'll go back up to Carroll, who has got a mirror full of Rodolasso.
Rodolasso gets a little wide there.
And Kyle Stewart now with Aiden Kirker in close proximity. Stewart able to pull just a skosh of a gap on Kirker out of turn number 1. But Kirker's still too close for comfort, I would imagine, for Stewart. Dakota Floyd, you see him there only a second and a half up the road from the rest of the gang. Remember, a few lap older tires. So issues continue for James Lehman. Lehman is around. I think that's out of turn number 1. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it is, and Lehman is going to drop all the way back to be the second to last car on the lead lap here.
And these curbs are brutal. Kirker and Stewart starting to pull away from Hessling as he's falling back down into the clutches of Jared Wishon.
Yep, these two are going to continue to battle like they were doing at the tail end of the stage. Nathan Carroll still cannot shake Rodolasso, and Rodolasso's not making time on the 63, so they're sort of stuck in place. About 0.4 of a second separated, with Seth Foudy approaching them quickly. Heath Smith just made a move to get through on Parker Donaldson for spot number 16. Donaldson back to 17th now. Oh, Jack Watts just went wide into the bus stop, and I'm not too sure he doesn't have a slowdown penalty here, as he voluntarily gives up the 12th position to Tyler Granat, one of those drivers. He is racing right around that cut line for the points. He's still plus 13 on the day, but the top 11 have pulled away from Granat and Watts here. So they're going to have to hope for good outcomes on their upcoming pit stop here in order to get up into the top 10 this evening. James Lehman just came out right in front of Tyler Hessling and Jared Wishon. Lehman, I would imagine, on fresh tires. And cold tires as well. So that impedes Wishon just a bit. Hessling able to pull away by about 3/4 of a second. As looking at the lap times, Stewart and Kirker both are starting to turn some faster laps than Dakota Floyd. This gap is now down to 1.3 seconds. So Floyd has not been able to pull away, but is Floyd trying to just save a little something? You know, he is the long run driver, and we are on the long run, verifiably.
Yeah, definitely think it is possible. I'm also thinking about the strategy for some of these guys. You know, passing is tough here, so you might possibly see a couple of two-tire stops to try and jump a couple spots on track.
We've seen some drivers playing around with two-tire stops of late. We'll see if anybody's brave enough to try it here. Ryan Nardone just got through on Jack Watts to take 13th. So Nardone continues his charge. As from the sounds of it, these drivers up front going to encounter a little bit of lap traffic. It'll be Bill Paradise first up, and then they'll have some more room to operate with after they get through on the 5.56. At least until pit stops start. Hello to Jack in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Oh, as that was Kirker, I think, into the wall out of the final turn, and he hit it hard. Really big impact there. It scrapes up the left side of that truck. Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it didn't knock the toe out. Definitely some front fender damage above the wheel well. And that was a big shot. And that cost him a 2.5 seconds up to Kyle Stewart.
Definitely not what he wanted. I know firsthand that a little bit of air damage and a little bit of nose damage doesn't help you much.
Shout out to John Kay. No reason in particular. Nardone's still on the charge. Little red miss. He is going to work here on Tyler Granat for 12th.
Kyle Stewart also making leaps and bounds. Here comes Dakota Floyd.
Floyd is down a pit road. Here's something I never thought I'd say on turn 200. Russell Crowe in the chat, cheering on Tyler Hessling and Ryan Nardone. I mean, Nardone will be disappointed with how this race started, but man, he's got to be very proud of how he has been able to overcome and just absolutely muscle his way back up through the running order here. Still a long ways to go. This pit stop should get everybody to the end, as Dakota Floyd, Seth Foudy, and Jack Watts all down and away. Foudy leaping over Dakota Floyd.
Yep. Definitely a two-tire stop there.
And Foudy would have a little bit more fuel in the tank as well than Dakota Floyd. I would imagine Floyd probably ran that out. As, Greg Mall has crashed. And Mall is out of the race. What has happened to Greg Mall? As Kyle Stewart, Aiden Kirker, and Tyler Hessling are all down pit road. And we will take a look at what happened to Greg Mall. This is through the carousel here. Oh, and that looks like a hardware failure. It looked like the steering wheel just turned him straight into the wall. Luckily, the brakes still worked. That is incredibly disappointing. All right, we'll see who wins the race off of pit road here. Lots of drivers on pit road this time. Kirker, Hessling, Stewart, Rodolasso, Granat, Mitten, Smith, Brandon Groover, Chris Sargent. The race-off goes to Aiden Kirker. Seth Foudy and Dakota Floyd are through already and battling for position. So this is the provisional race lead here. Seth Foudy mixing it up on strategy just a bit. Has come out ahead of Dakota Floyd and has jumped over Kirker, Stewart, and Hessling. But the way Floyd is applying the pressure here, I think you're very much in the ballpark. He's going to look to the inside on the carousel. That definitely looks like a two-tire stop for the driver that finished second 2 weeks in a row. Not giving up without a fight, though.
Floyd with the ideal line now through the final corner.
Jared, Wishon is on pit road as Dakota Floyd solidifies the move for the provisional race lead. It's for 4th right now. As here is Wishon pulling out of pit road. He will blend in a little bit behind the drivers. He's been running around all race, but with a couple lap fresher tires than Hessling, Stewart, Kirker, Foudy, and Floyd. So that leaves Nathan Carroll currently as the race leader, Alex Howland in 2nd, and Ryan Nardone in the 3rd position. As Rob Haynes and Joshua Fracker are down this time, pretty much everybody has made their final stop of the event, save for a couple scattered through the field and your top 3. Carroll going to go another one. We'll see what Alex Howland elects to do this time. Howland is going to bypass as well. A few more turns to go here for Ryan Nardone. Hard to believe, even though he's the defending series champion and he is the points leader, Dakota Floyd has yet to return to the win column in Season 2 of 2025. And that could very well change if things continue the way they are right now.
He definitely has had a rough go at it this season.
Just to try and get back to victory lane, he's only had 1 DNF. The rest of the finishes have been solid, and he's had a few podiums in there, but just, I don't know. It's weird to rag on the points leader for not winning, but, you know, when you win the championship in your rookie season with Max V and win 4 races in the interim, then, you know, it's weird to be 3/4 of the way through the regular season without a victory. But he's been doing a good job and doing a great job tonight as well. Nathan Carroll going to do at least one more lap here. Alex Howland will scoot on by. And Nardone caught up behind the 5.56 of the People's Champion, Bill Paradise. And Nardone will do another lap. He's got Dakota Floyd catching him quite quickly here. So these 3 going for the overcut. They want to be on it late. They want to be able to go as hard as they can. Yeah. Sorry to Scott Patton in the chat. Yeah. I think he's a little bit behind here, but that's yeah, apologies to Scott Patton. Sorry that I remembered that, unfortunately. Aiden Kirker, Kyle Stewart, both through on Seth Foudy. Now Tyler Hessling will go to work here.
Nathan Carroll still staying out.
Omar Rodriguez, a little bit off cycle, has just come down and left pit road once again. As Hessling completes the pass on Seth Foudy, provisionally that will be for the 4th position. As Dakota Floyd now passing Ryan Nardone on track. Again, Nardone still needing to make a pit stop. Floyd catches him in a good spot. Aiden Kirker, who is on the move, does not. And Kirker is stuck behind the slower Ryan Nardone up the hill through the S's here, and that is going to cost him chunks and chunks of time. That gap is blown up to a full second now between Floyd and Kirker for the provisional race lead. Kirker finally able to dispose of Ryan Nardone here.
And here comes Nathan Carroll.
So Carroll, I mean, that's 25 minutes of green flag racing there before Carroll elects to bring it down pit road. Alex Howland is still going to stay out for at least one more. We'll see if now that Nardone has been caught by the field, if he'll bring it in this time. Looks like he is going to. So Alex Allen in the 6 will stay out to lead his first career Max v CNC Home Design's Truck Series lap. As we'll jump back to now the second place running Dakota Floyd, and actually we'll go in search of Omar Rodriguez Jr., who just went off in the bus stop. Looks like he's brought it back and is still rolling, so no issue there.
Carroll going to come out right beside Rodolasso.
So remember, Carroll was running in the 7th position before the pit stop cycle, and in fact, he was running directly in front of Matt Rodolasso here. So Rodolasso's gotten through on Carroll. But again, Carroll will be on much fresher tires here. If he could just nurse these tires up to temperature, he should be in a good spot to take over that position. As you see Jordan Neese around out of the final turn as Alex Howland is going to bring it down pit road. Oh, and Omar Rodriguez is around through turn 1 as well. Keeps it out of the way of oncoming traffic. I keep avoiding the temptation to say, and we are still green, because yes, we are. Ooh, somebody's around in front of the race leader here in the S's, and that is Jordan Neese, I believe. Neese keeps that all the way to the left side of the Armco barriers there. Good work by the 12 to stay out of the way of oncoming traffic. It's behind your race leaders, Stewart and Hesseling going to work on one another. Hesseling trying to get through on Stewart for 3rd, and Aiden Kirker, to point out as well, continues to be little by little just a bit faster than Dakota Floyd at the front of this field. Whoa! Hesseling hanging it way out there. We've already seen that bite a couple of drivers this evening, and Hesseling almost added his name to the list, but hangs on to it. Now you got to try and get these rear tires back into their proper operating window for temperature. I will say shade has fallen over upstate New York, and this track temperature is cooled off by 7 degrees. So things should be a little bit more gettable at the front of this field. Here's Nathan Carroll applying the pressure to Matt Rodolasso for now that 7th position that Carroll gave up in this green flag pit cycle. As they continue to draw nearer to one another, so do Kirker and Floyd. Aiden Kirker, your pole sitter, in just his 2nd career Max v CNC Home Design's Truck Series race, is going for the gold. Trying to take his first career victory away from Dakota Floyd, who wants his first win of the season.
And that last lap around almost 5/10 of a second, almost half a second faster for Kirker over Floyd.
So there's 8 minutes left to go. Daniel Carroll's question in the chat: why is there a timer instead of a lap counter? Well, this is the first timed race in series history. 60-minute clock here this evening, as my Siri just turned on when I said that for some reason. Don't know why. 60-minute timed race here this evening. So when the clock strikes 0, everybody will have an opportunity to finish the lap that they are on. Into lap traffic we go now. Floyd and Kirker. Chris Sargent does a good job staying out of the way as best as possible there through the bus stop. Kirker still continuing to close inch by inch here on Dakota Floyd. Stewart and Hesseling battling hard still for the 3rd position behind. Kirker is closing this gap. Will he have an opportunity to move to the inside? No, Billy Bumgardner is in that spot where the 39 wanted to dive. Bumgardner doing a good job staying out of the way of oncoming traffic. As Stewart and Hessling were getting to battling. Hessling, I think, pinned behind some lap traffic. He's let Jared Wishon and Seth Foudy get through. So Hessling from 4th back to 6th. And it's going to set up Kyle Stewart nicely for a third-place finish if he can hold off Jared Wishon here, which he's got a couple seconds back to him, so he's looking good. But nothing is settled at the front of this field.
Floyd going to defend the inside. Kirker around the right side.
If Kirker can make it stick, oh, he can't. He was going to be in a good position there into the final turn. You know, plenty of time to overcome here. That's a good one to log in the notebook. The real wild card here is there's still plenty of lap traffic in front of your race leaders as they are into the thick of the back of this field. Where will you catch the lap trucks? Floyd is on the button here. Kirker is closing. Next up is Parker Donaldson. Donaldson going to move to the right, open it up for Floyd and Wishon here with 4 minutes left to go. That should be about 3 laps left in this race. Kirker going to try and take a stab. Sends it way long into the first turn, nearly into the barriers. Trying to do something different and take him around the outside there. But Kirker couldn't quite make it stick, and Floyd opens it up now to a second. Kirker has the pace to make this up, but he is out of time and out of opportunities. He might only have one more chance to make a pass stick. Kyle Stewart here in third, comfortably in this position, with Jared Wishon about 2 seconds behind him in fourth. Seth Foudy and Tyler Hessling would continue to battle for the 5th position, as Kirker again closing in on Dakota Floyd. Skylar Sparks in the chat was happy to see Parker Donaldson there. Donaldson is getting lapped right now, but he's back in 19th. I mean, these drivers have made... The drivers at the front are just on a blistering pace. In the closing laps, Kirker continues to advance 0.8 of a second after the wild maneuver trying to take over the race lead. More lap traffic ahead. It's Omar Rodriguez Jr. in front of the race leader. And Rodriguez off the track. Dirt tracking it now is going to try and keep it to the right. That might encumber the exit a little bit here for Floyd. And it definitely cost him a couple of tenths. It's Kirker now back to half a second behind. Kirker a bit hung up there behind Rodriguez as well. Gives some of that time back. 2 laps to go.
Man, Alex Stewart is also not going anywhere.
Whoa, Floyd! Out of shape under braking there with Joshua Fracker going wide. And Kirker closes again. Back to half a second. A look up the road. The road ahead looks clear for now.
Top three, all within a second here.
It'll all come down to the final lap. 1 lap to go. Remember, we're not racing the clock at this point. We're racing back to the line. White flag is waving. Kirker, 2 truck lengths back, sizing up an opportunity. Kyle Stewart is here in third. If it all goes bottoms up for your top 2. Kirker continues to close. Again, trip through the grass there, flirting with a slowdown penalty. But doing anything he can to try and overtake Dakota Floyd for the race win. 2 turns left to go. Does Kirker have anything left? What will he do for a win? He'll be looking for a bump into the final turn, but he's not quite close enough. Floyd is loose. Kirker going to come at him with a run. They're drag racing to the line. Into the grass. Kirker goes. Floyd has got it. Floyd got loose there in the turn. Kirker took it to the grass to try and come back at him. And a drag race to the line. And Watkins Glen goes to your reigning series champion for the first win of the season for the Gorilla Glue Chevy Silverado. And long-awaited victory burnouts, career win number 5 for Dakota Floyd. Aiden Kirker, man, what a race to the line. Kyle Stewart will round out the podium. Oh, man. That was awesome. We'll get another look at that here in just a second. Don't you worry. Jared Wishon, Seth Foundy round out the top 5. Tyler Hessling, Nathan Carroll, Matt Rodolasso, Ryan Mitten, and Tyler Granat, the top 10. You think he hasn't been saving up for this one? There goes the motor. Yep. Something tells me a cracked block is going to take a little bit more than Gorilla Glue. We got to see that again, man. That was awesome. Let's go to the chopper cam. Floyd keeping it to the right here. I would imagine he's probably not full beans here. He realizes how close Kirker is, though. Gets on the gas. You can see it step out from underneath of him. So already his exit is not looking very good. Kirker seeing his opportunity. Hard on the gas here. Then Floyd trying to keep him exactly a truck with space. Kirker with the left side tires, though, in the grass and a little bit of contact. Kirker still could have a shot out of here, but just once you're in that grass, you can't get out. It's so hard. And that is the margin of victory. That is certainly the closest finish we've ever had here at Watkins Glen in any series. I mean, we're usually talking seconds here. Let's see if I can get a good angle. Yeah, there we go. We're usually talking full seconds here at Watkins Glen for the margin of victory. And this was almost exactly a tenth of a second. Man, what a finish. Barney the Flagman going wild here. Does not get much closer than that here at Watkins Glen. That was fantastic. I'm excited to talk to our podium finishers here in just a moment as the race results are now official, and we can give you the full finishing rundown here this evening. After 60 minutes, the first timed race in Max v CNC Home Design's Truck Series history goes to Dakota Floyd for his first victory of the season. Congratulations to Dakota Floyd. Aiden Kirker will bring home a career-best second-place finish, and not by much. But awesome stuff from Kirker here this evening. Kyle Stewart will round out the podium. It is Jared Wishawn in the 4th position. Seth Fowdy will round out the top 5. Tyler Hessling in 6th. Nathan Carroll will finish in the 7th position. Matt Rodolasso in 8th. Ron Mitten in 9th. And Tyler Granat will round out the top 10. 11th for Jack Watts. Ryan Nardone will finish in the 12th position. 13th for Rob Haynes. James Lehman will rally for a 14th place finish. Brandon Groover rounds out the top 15. Alex Allen in 16th, Joshua Fracker in 17th, Omar Rodriguez Jr. in 18th, Parker Donaldson and Billy Bumgardner in the top 20, Chris Serchin in 21st. 22nd for Bill Paradise, it is 23rd, and a DNF for Greg Mall. I believe DNFs from here on out, actually. CJ McLaughlin in 24th, Heath Smith in 25th, 26th for Jordan Neese, Peyton Bass in 27th, Nathan Barrows in 28th, Michael Van in 29th, Scott Patton in 30th, and Zachary Groover, the final finisher here this evening, in the 31st position. Points are going to be looking very interesting rolling into the racetrack next week, which, of course, I've already forgotten where that is. So we'll try and remember that as we go in search of your podium finishers. And as always, we'll start with your third-place finisher here tonight, and Kyle Stewart is up in booth 200. After 60 minutes at the Glen here this evening. And a hard-fought third place at that. Welcome up and congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad to be up here.
I mean, mixing it up on strategy there. Not that, I mean, you were running pretty well up inside the top 10 before. You elected to come in before the stage caution there. And, I mean, that track position, I mean, you showed what kind of speed you had there. Took off from second and hung right around that bubble the rest of the race.
Yeah, I was sitting there 6th, I think. I might be wrong there, but I sitting 6th and just didn't feel like I had the raw pace to get track position there. So flip the stage. Me and Dakota kind of talked about it. Flip the stage, get us up front, and I felt like I was quick enough to absolutely defend positions without slowing dudes down. But yeah, just trying to find a way to move up a little bit track position wise there.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, congrats on the podium, being up here with us. I mean, you've had some pretty fantastic runs all season long. Been in the thick of it in a couple of races. But I mean, I know we talked about strategy, but I mean, we don't typically see too many just outright pace on track passes at a track like Watkins Glen. Can you walk us through why that is?
What? I don't know. I think sometimes you can do it here. I think specifically tonight, like the truck compared to what we ran, I don't know, probably a year ago in my experience, is much looser. So like you try to throttle up to get around somebody and you just can't get the grip down. You can probably brake pretty well to get inside of somebody, but then you don't have that outside line to get to. So it's just really hard to complete a pass. You can get alongside, but it's really hard to complete that pass.
Definitely, yeah, this truck is way looser. The track was really hot there, right, until the last few laps where we finally got some shade over the course. But first career podium here tonight in the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Glad to get you up here. I mean, you've had podium place plenty of times here this season. It just have had some horrible luck. So good to get you on the front foot here, headed towards the postseason in a few races' time. But in the meantime, let's get some shout-outs going before we let you go.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for putting on the broadcast. James for running this league, and then the teammate Dakota there. Congrats on the win for him. Aiden for running me clean. It was a great race. It was fun to be a part of it. glad to get to talk to you guys for once.
Absolutely, partner. Hope to do it again here soon, but in the meantime, go celebrate this one.
Appreciate it, guys.
Alrighty. Let's move up the running order now. Aiden Kirker will bring home a first career podium in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Took the pole here tonight, led quite a few laps in a fantastic battle, one of the best we've seen here at Watkins Glen in any series. And, just a tenth of a second off of the win here tonight, and a thrilling conclusion to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty wild. This was like kind of one of those races where you go into it thinking, "Ah, man, I could basically, if I lose this race, it's on me." But there was a lot of really fast guys tonight. I know the 50 truck was hard. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning names.
That's all good.
50 truck was really good until he had an incident. 43 was quick, and then obviously Dakota with the really good strategy to get out front at the stage and then hold on. There was about 3 or 4 times I thought I was going to have him. The one time I just went too wide, and then I locked it up into turn 1, and I'm like, "Oh, this is it." And then off of the final corner, I didn't want to hit him. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I've never moved someone for a win, and I don't really want to start now. So I was like, I'm just going to stay close in case he makes a mistake. And I saw that truck dart right off turn 11. I was like, oh my gosh. Gassed it up, and he swung up, and I freaked out, and I was like, I don't want to wreck. So ended up in the grass. So, I mean, it was a pretty cool finish. I hate finishing second. I finished second a lot. I finished second in the league on Tuesday at Long Beach, so I'm like, I'm back in my bridesmaid era. Just can't win a race. But no, it was a blast. I had a really good time. This was definitely one of the better Watkins Glen races I've been a part of.
Joshua, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on the good podium here and being up here with us in the booth. I know the feeling for P2s for sure. But I mean, you're sitting in the middle of a pit stop strategy sandwich. I mean, what do you think the strategy call was there for Floyd and the 10 of Kyle Stewart to come in before the stage break, and was that ever a thought in your mind?
Oh, for sure, it was a thought. I felt like we were fast enough. Me and let me get a name. Who drives the 50 truck? So I'm not
James
missing
Lehman.
50. James. All right. Me and James were really quick at the front. So I felt like we didn't really have to protect from anything. Like those guys getting in front, I figured, okay, we're kind of the class of the field here. If someone pits early, we'll be able to get our way past them, and it just wasn't the case. So it kind of misjudgment on that. I still feel like for me, I was on the correct strategy for myself just because I like to drive pretty hard at the Glen. So I feel like if I had older tires, it wouldn't have worked out. I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have finished second. I think I probably would have finished third or fourth. So still, I guess, worked out. But I think this was still the best strategy for me. Just a couple mistakes on my part and some good placement by Dakota keep kind of forcing me to the outside. So I would make those mistakes. So yeah, just got outclassed by strategy and driving tonight. That's all. But still had a great time.
Let's say on your driver nameplate here, say Boston, New York.
Yeah, that's not correct anymore.
Okay.
But that's where I used to live. I live probably about 40 minutes south of there now.
I'd say it's not too terribly far away from Watkins Glen. Maybe a couple hours.
It's currently I'm about 3 hours from Watkins Glen. It is my home track, but I'm ashamed to admit that I've never been. I've been to New Hampshire. I've been to Pocono. Been to like Bristol, Daytona, all that stuff. The way Watkins Glen works in the summer, it's like the perfect time to go to the race, but I always have something going on, so I never get to go.
Well, maybe we can get you up here one of these days. I've been, and I'm from more than 3 hours away. It's a great facility though. But regardless, great job here tonight. You've taken to this league like a fish to water in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we get more of you here down the stretch. But in the meantime, let's get some shout outs for you before we let you go.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to my team, Elite Motorsports, teammate Jared. I believe he had a good run tonight as well. Shout out to the owners and admins. Again, I'm still trying to learn names, but from what I've seen, this is a really fun league. That 2 weeks I've ran, it's been pretty solid. I've ran in a lot of really bad leagues that you can tell immediately that they suck. But this is not one of those. Seems to be a pretty good league, and thank you guys for putting on the broadcast and giving. My grandma likes to watch these races, so it gives her a platform to be able to watch it. So appreciate you guys.
Well, shout out to Grandma and shout out to you. Great stuff here tonight. Thrilling conclusion to this one. Go celebrate a hard-fought P2, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's finally Dakota Floyd's time to get back up on the top step here tonight, and he'll do it in style at Watkins Glen. And the best finish that we've ever had here on the road course on Turn 200. How about it, partner? That was a lot of fun.
Oh, my anxiety's a little through the roof after that last couple sets of corners, I'll tell you that.
I mean, mixing it up on strategy. I mean, we were kind of curious there before that pit stop on the back half of the race, the final pit stop, if maybe you were just saving a little bit of fuel or saving a little bit of tire. But even still, you're one of the first drivers down pit road, I would imagine, out of necessity. That tank was probably empty. But it looked to be hanging on for dear life at the end of that one.
Yeah, I knew those guys had a lot of pace just from qualifying and seeing their first stage. So it was going to be a matter of just racing it clean, just race the track at that point, not worry about what's going on behind me. And then when he started just closing in on me, one little mess up and that was wind gone. It was just over. That guy, Aiden, had a lot of pace, so I really appreciate him racing me clean. And yeah, I almost blew it in the last corner, but thankfully I didn't. I defended unnecessarily, but we were still able to come away with it.
Well, Joshua, what you got for your reigning series champion and race winner here tonight?
Yeah, congrats on the win. Definitely about time that you get up on the top step of the podium. But yeah, congrats nonetheless. Talk about strategy, especially at a track like a road course like Watkins Glen. The field spreads out a pretty good bit. We did see Seth Foudy take a two-tire stop and actually get out the pits in front of you. Was that ever a thought that crossed your mind for that? I know Justin Michael did that in the spring season as well and came away with the win.
I thought about it, but going into this race, even from practice, the truck was way looser than it was last season, especially on the refresh of Watkins Glen. So I didn't think two tires was going to be all that good. Seeing Seth come out in front of me and then just seeing how much pace he had to try to make up on the two tires and how much he was sliding because of it. I feel like I was really happy I didn't take two tires. But yeah, the truck was just way looser than it was last season. So I don't think I was ever thinking about it from the start.
Well, it's your fourth podium of the season, but we finally got you back here on the top step after a couple of runner-ups this season. And, man, it's great to have you back here as the last interview of the night. Once again, I'm sure you've got your eyes forward to the playoffs now, not only as the points leader and the defending series champion, but now with a win tucked in the back pocket as well. I mean, it's all rolling pretty well.
Yeah, a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum going on right now. Yeah, we just get to the playoffs. I will be missing a race here in a couple weeks, so I'll be taking a provisional there. So I'll probably drop down out of the top spot in points, but we'll be in the playoffs nonetheless and get a fresh reset. So I'm just looking forward to defending my title this season.
Certainly looking forward to a title defense as well. Let's get some shout-outs in once again before we let you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to shout out the teammate Kyle. We pretty much tried to 1-to-1 our strategy there, and he did really well for himself too. Got on the podium as well. So really, really good effort from the podium altogether, or from the team altogether. Excuse me. Thank you to everybody in the league. It was a fantastic race. Everybody I raced around tonight was super clean, super respectful, as it is week in and week out here. Always remains to be one of my favorite leagues. So I really appreciate everybody, and thanks to all the admins that keep this ship running straight. And thanks to you guys at Turn 200 for giving us awesome broadcasts every week, and always look forward to watching them back. Thanks CNC Home Designs for sponsoring the Truck Series and keeping us going here, and thanks to everybody that supports me.
And thank you for the time, as always. Congrats on career win number 5 here with the Max 3 CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Go celebrate, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week in Atlanta.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
And there is a reason that I forgot that we were at Atlanta next week. Is because we had a talk earlier tonight with James Lehman, and he was like, I'm not 100% sure which Atlanta we're running. I do believe we decided on Atlanta 2022. But don't be surprised if Atlanta 2008 shows up next week anyway. So that is where we'll be, one of the 2 versions of the mile and a half down in Atlanta, Georgia, next Thursday night. But speaking on this one, man, this race, I don't know what more you want. This just about had everything. It had a photo finish, which we never get on road courses. It had bang-up racing all through the course of the night. Plenty of drama to go around, especially for a lot of the drivers above and right around that cut line.
Yeah, it was definitely a polar opposite race as to what we had in the spring season. Spring season field was very spread out. We did have a little bit of strategy come into play, but I think that tonight was a very, very close race. Obviously, only a 10th separated the top 2 for the win. I mean, like I say, every week, Max V never fails to excite. Always puts on a good show. So definitely enjoy it. Looking forward to the rest of this season. A few races in particular as well.
Yeah, certainly. We are just a couple of weeks away from the Wildest Dirt Track Challenge. You're excited for that one for a couple of different reasons, I would imagine, as well. And we keep teasing an announcement for sometime probably next week. Yeah. Yep. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, keep your ears open for that one. But in the meantime, here's some things coming up next week on the channel. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series 150th race in series history. From where it all started at Auto Club Speedway. Catch us at an early start time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We'll celebrate all things Venom on Tuesday night. It'll also be the finale for the Car Inside In-Season Tournament Tuesday night as well. So excited for all of that. Wednesday night, the Daredevil Series is at Talladega. Yeah, buddy. Of course it is. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for that one. And then we'll catch you for some more Super Speedway-ish racing next Thursday night from Atlanta Motor Speedway 2022 at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Thanks, everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Lively bunch in the chat. Love to see that for a road course on a Thursday night. Robin Motichek, Bailey Motichek, Lisa Carroll, Danielle Carroll, Manny G, Matthew Palmer, who I do not think I shouted out during the broadcast. Sorry about that. Appreciate you hanging out with us. That one kid, Jack, Russell Crowe, Scott Patton hopping in the chat, and Skylar Sparks, I think, was our last unique chatter of the night. Appreciate anybody that was hanging out with us here this evening, and we'll hope to catch you again sometime next week. That's all we got for you here tonight. Until we meet again, from Watkins, Glen International, on behalf of Mr. Joshua Motichek, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long. And congratulations to Dakota Floyd on his first victory of the season, the 5th of his career in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.